Welcome to another Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving into something absolutely massive. We're cracking open the official Kotlin 2.4.10 language documentation. But, I really don't want you to think of this as just some dry, boring manual. Honestly, it's more like a blueprint. We're looking at a highly detailed, incredibly sophisticated architectural map for a sprawling digital city.
I mean, we are talking about over 650 pages of modern language architecture here. If you're still thinking of Kotlin as just, that simple mobile language for making Android apps, well, this document is going to completely shatter that perception. What we have here is a massive, enterprise-grade ecosystem meticulously mapped out page by page.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's how we're going to navigate our city today. Section 1, the blueprint scale. Section 2, mastering core fundamentals. Section 3, what's new in 2.4. Section 4, advanced paradigms and concurrency. And finally, Section 5, the multi-platform ecosystem.
So, Section 1, the blueprint scale, setting the boundaries. To truly appreciate what the team at JetBrains has built here, we've got to start by zooming all the way out.
654. That's the exact number of pages in the table of contents we're looking at today. The very last entry, which is for the Fritz 2 framework, lands right on page 654. To put that into perspective, that number is absolutely crucial because it instantly proves the maturity and just the astonishing depth of the Kotlin ecosystem right out of the gate. This definitely isn't some weekend project. It's a comprehensive, rigorously documented platform that's ready for literally any software challenge you throw at it.
Moving on to Section 2, Mastering Core Fundamentals, our historic downtown. This is where the foundational architecture lives. And frankly, it's where we as developers spend the vast majority of our time actually building things.
Take a look at how meticulously the basics are laid out early on here. Starting on page 77, you can see the absolute bedrock of the language. There's basic types, collections starting on page 79, control flow over on 86, and functions on 94. It's so logically structured, giving developers a chance to lay a rock-solid foundation before they go trying to build a skyscraper,
And the thing is, Kotlin doesn't just give you your standard loops and conditionals. It actively fixes the biggest, most annoying headaches from older languages with these really elegant safety solutions. For instance, the famous billion-dollar mistake, the null pointer exception, is tackled head-on. They map out null safety right there on page 110. And it gets even better. Look at smart casts, which show up later on page 173, right alongside the brilliantly named Elvis operator. These aren't just neat little features. They're real structural reinforcements that keep your entire code base from collapsing.
Okay, Section 3, what's new in 2.4, our new construction zone. The Kotlin team definitely hasn't been resting on their laurels. Version 2.4 brings some massive expansions to the city limits.
Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer volume of updates dedicated just to this one version release. It's kind of staggering. If you look at these table of contents pages side by side starting right around page 200, you just see page after page meticulously outlining the stable new features in 2.4.0. It is a huge release that touches pretty much every single corner of the language. Let me just rapid fire through some of these targeted platform updates, because it really proves how far Kotlin is pushing past its original JVM roots. So we've got updates to Kotlin JVM, sure, but there's also Kotlin/native, the super cutting-edge Kotlin/WASM for WebAssembly, and Kotlin/JS. Plus, they've updated the Compose compiler and the Build Tools API. The blueprint makes it crystal clear. Kotlin is evolving to run literally everywhere. No question about it. Section 4, Advanced Paradigms and Concurrency, the heavy-hitting infra. We're going to slow the pace down just a little bit here, because we're entering the really complex, high-traffic infrastructure of the language now.
Take a look at this definition for scope functions, introduced back on page 117. Scope functions, we're talking about things like let, run, with, apply, and also. They essentially let you execute a block of code within the specific context of an object. It's this incredibly deep feature that just gives developers so much expressive power. It means you can write highly readable, dense code without all that verbose boilerplate that completely clutters up other languages.
Now, let's see how this builds into even more complex territory. The blueprint maps out asynchronous programming techniques starting on page 523, and it actually walks you through this really clear historical progression. It starts with basic threading, moves through callbacks, touches on futures and promises, and then reactive extensions. And the coolest part? It lays all of this out just to set the stage for Kotlin's absolute crown jewel of concurrency, So the crucial point is right here on page 526, coroutines. As you can see, this is a design pattern that just radically simplifies executing code asynchronously. In modern apps, especially when you're doing things like pulling data from the internet or reading large files, developers so often get trapped in what we call callback hell. You know, that messy, totally unreadable, deeply nested code. Well, coroutines solve this so elegantly. They allow you to write asynchronous, non-blocking code that looks and reads exactly like standard sequential code. Honestly, it's a masterpiece of language design. It's a real game changer.
All right, Section 5, the multi-platform ecosystem, the sprawling suburbs. This is where our blueprint really expands outward, revealing Kotlin's true, massive cross-platform ambition.
If you thought Kotlin was just for mobile apps, page 571 is going to change everything for you. The document dedicates entire, incredibly extensive tutorials just to back-end development with Spring Boot. It walks you through everything, creating projects, adding database support, even building a full task manager app. This definitively proves that Kotlin has grown into a total first-class citizen for heavy, robust server-side architecture. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer flexibility of the whole thing. You can literally use the exact same language to write your back-end logic with Spring Boot, and then turn right around and write your front-end web client using an entirely different set of tools. It's just one unified language powering entirely different domains. And speaking of that front end, the blueprint leaves absolutely no stone unturned. By the time you hit the final pages of the document, right around page 653, you are deep into Kotlin JS frameworks. As you can see listed, there is official support and documentation for CodeWeb, Kilua, Kotlin React, Kvision, and Fritz 2. The ecosystem is fully 100% equipped for modern front-end web development. It's competing directly with traditional JavaScript stacks now. So, we've traversed the core fundamentals, we've explored the new additions in 2.4, tackled advanced concurrency, and ventured all the way out into the sprawling multi-platform suburbs. The scope is just breathtaking. So, I want to leave you with this thought as we wrap up today's explainer. With a 650-page architectural blueprint completely at your fingertips, detailing everything from microcontrollers all the way to massive web servers, what will you build with Kotlin next?